was a lovely July evening, just a couple of summers ago, and I am sitting with my very best friend Julie at a little tiny bar in a little tiny restaurant in East Harlem in New York. The restaurant is called Rao's. It's 100 and some years old, and it's been on this corner since that neighborhood was Little Italy, before Little Italy moved to Mulberry Street. And all you really need to know about Rao's is that you can't eat there. Mere mortals are not welcome. Tables are sold by subscription to people with last names like Scorsese and Soprano. They're passed down through generations. They don't answer the phone, they don't take reservations. But Julie and I have decided tonight is the night, and we are cracking this joint. It doesn't matter that no one we know has ever eaten there. We got it figured out. And we put on our low V-neck dresses and the bras with a little extra lift, and we take a cab and we go uptown. We make our way into the bar, and we sit down and put a drink in our hands as if we belong there. The room itself is kind of dim, and it looks just as it should. It's paneled in dark oak, and the upholstery is kind of wine-colored velvet. There's pictures from 100 and some years on the walls, and they're framed in little white fairy lights. We drink our first drink, and we ask the bartender if he thinks maybe we could have something to eat. You know, we see there's this empty table for two up front. There's only 10 tables in the whole place, but this one's empty. Can we eat? He goes like, no. just no. And we sit for a little longer, we have another drink, we look around. There's 3 people working the room, in addition to our friend the bartender and the best. There's a man who's clearly like the owner, because when the men come in, he claps them on the back, you know, that one-handed hand clap, handshake thing. The women he kisses. And there's a waiter, we guess, making his way from table to table, but he has no menus. He just has a pad. We don't quite get that, but okay. And there is this young woman, and I will learn later that her name is Jessica. She's very pretty. She's kind of plump, and her hair is pulled back. She's wearing black yoga pants and a black t-shirt, and her lipstick matches the upholstery. And she brings the food to the tables. So we have this second drink, and as it comes, we ask the bartender, like, can we eat at the bar maybe? Because that would satisfy our, need to eat at Rao's. And he was like, no. That's not happening either. So, all right, we're having that second drink, and I make my way, now I need the ladies' room. So I make my way back, and in the hallway by the ladies' room, there's Jessica. And I think like, all right, here's a plan, right? So I talk to her for a second. And I introduce myself, and she introduces herself, and I'm like, we're dying to eat. Can you help us out? And she's like, no. I wish I could. She says, I would if I could, but I can't. But she says, be patient. You never know. Sandra Bullock ate at that table just last week. I know, right? If it's good enough for Sandra Bullock, it's good enough for me. So I make my way back to the bar, and Julie now is talking to the owner. And this is a really good sign. And I sit in my seat and I just listen for a minute. And this is the moment. Everybody says, I have the best friend. My best friend would take a bullet for me. My best friend would do anything for me. But you guys, you're wrong, because I have the best friend. And here's how I know. She's talking to the owner and she says, what's that you're drinking? And he says, oh, that's red wine and Pepsi. And he says, yeah. He says, this is how my parents gave it to me when we were little, so that we could drink and not get drunk and we could learn to drink wine. And goddamn, if she doesn't look right at him and say, red wine and Pepsi, huh? I never had that. Can I have a glass? And he beckons over to the bartender with the vest, who brings her a glass of red wine and Pepsi on ice. And she drinks the whole thing down. And then she looks at him and she goes, that two-top in the front, can we eat? And he goes, no. So we're getting ready now to cash it in. And this is really bumming us out, because we are women who are used to getting our way. We believe that we can can manipulate any situation, any environment to our satisfaction, and we are about to have to leave Rayo's without having eaten. And just as we're about to call for the bill, that waiter comes over and he gestures to Sandra's two-top and he goes, "Go sit." And you have never seen two women make their way from a bar to a table faster than this. We were like the road runner with our legs up in the air, right? And we sit down and the waiter comes over and he goes, "What do you want to eat?" And we're like, "Well, what do you got?" You know? And we end up eating salad and mozzarella and tomatoes and these great big meatballs and chicken and broccoli rabe and penne arrabbiata. And I know you're wondering at this point, after all that, how was the food? And the answer is it was great, but that doesn't matter because the point was never eating. The point was having eaten. And we did. And dinner was over and we finished our next bottle of wine and we went outside having paid our bill and we're waiting for the car service because at 114th Street east of First Avenue, one does not simply put up one's hand and get a cab back to Midtown. So they've called us a car service. And I turn around, and behind me, there's Jessica. And she's so happy for us. She says, "You guys, you got to eat." I said, "I did. It was great. We were so happy." And we're chatting, and I say, "How does it come to pass that you are working at Rayo's?" Rayo's, like the most exclusive restaurant in the world. And she says, "I grew up on the block. You know, I'm just a girl from the neighborhood. I needed work. They put me to work." I said, "Well, what else about you? You know, you got a husband, you got kids." And she says, "No, I don't." And she gets a little quiet and she says, "You know, I'm 36 and I'm afraid that my time is passing." And I don't know if it was the moonlight or the wine and Pepsi or the flush of our success, but I did something I have never done before or since. And I took that girl's hands in mine and I looked her in the eyes and I blessed her. And I said to her, "Jessica, you are going to have a baby. You are going to be a mother. I can see it, and it's a girl." And she started to cry, and she wrapped me in her arms, and she thanked me. And the car service came, and we went back to Midtown. And I've not been back to Rayo's, and I've not seen Jessica again. So that is the end of the story, but it's not. Because it's the end of what I know. It's not the end of what I believe. What I believe is I believe in love, and I believe in kindness, and I believe in red wine and perfect summer evenings, and I believe in claiming my place at every table, and I believe that I am watched over by the twin goddesses of bravado and bullshit. And I believe that one perfect summer night, all of that flowed through me and into Jessica, and together we made a baby. And somewhere in East Harlem, a little girl is walking around eating spaghetti.